radio.uccs.edu.
I wish there was a place where I could get all my UCCS athletic information, game previews, game results. I wish there was a place where I could get interviews with players and coaches.
There is, and it's called The Lion's Den, and it's found exclusively on UCCS Radio, so join hosts MJ and Martin every Tuesday at 10 on The Lion's Den, the official source for UCCS sports.
Hello, I'm Pam Shockley-Zalabak, and you are tuned into The Lion's Den, the official source for UCCS sports.
Bitch grinding harder than the X Games. Fame is just an option, but a must that I get paid. Diamonds on the wrist, making fish up on the grain. Got a pocket full of cheddar, naked bitches giving brain. I'm a home run hitter, always swinging for the fences, steady stacking my paper and counting on my blessings.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're tuned in to The Lion's Den, the official source for UCCS sports. I'm the sports MC, MJR Jamandi, and this year, folks, we are back and better than ever with a brand new co-host, the lovely Amber McAfee. Amber, thank you for joining us today, this week, and each and every week right here on The Lion's Den as the new co-host. You're the new Martin. How does that feel?
Awesome. Are you kidding?
You don't even know Martin, but it does feel awesome, right?
Yeah, it does.
It is great. Well, Amber, how do you feel about being here on The Lion's Den, about being a part of the show, and about the upcoming athletic season?
Feels great. I'm excited to really get to know the athletic department here and really get involved with everyone and know what's going on with the sports and whatnot. So
that's right. Well, Amber is our insider because she is part of the cross-country track and field team, and she's going to give us all the insight on anything running and anything related. Isn't that right?
I got your back.
You got my back. That's right. I love to hear it. Well, Amber, how was your summer? It's the first day back on the Lion's Den, and school's in session. Classes are going. Summer's no longer here. But how was it? What was your highlight? What'd you do?
I spent most of my time at Elitch's over this summer because I had the season pass, so why not?
That's a great investment, I think.
Right?
Well played. Summer, well played. You know, I went to Waterworld only once, and I was really wishing I had a season pass too because it was unbelievable. So much fun.
Never been to Waterworld, so.
But there's a Waterworld in Elitch's.
There is one.
That's true.
That one's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun. Well, next year I think I'm going to have to invest in a season pass because that is great stuff. Well, Amber, I can tell you that I am excited to have you here on the show. We have a very special guest here today on our first edition of The Lion's Den, Mr. Jared Verner, the Sports Information Director here at UCCS. Jared, right into the building as we speak. How you doing, Jared?
Not too bad, MJ. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. I am so happy to be back on campus, back in the studio. Our lovely closet here has been awaiting my presence, and it is time for the Lion's Den to resume.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree with you agreeing.
I agree.
That is great stuff. Well, Jared, I'm going to ask you the same thing. How was your summer?
It was good. I went to Elitch's for one day,
Ah.
so that was pretty good. We had like a CU appreciation day, so I got to go up there get some free grub.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Where was my invite?
You're not faculty staff.
Oh, okay. You got to be a big boy.
The CU Denver folks invited us
Ah,
up, so it was a
okay.
good day.
I
And then
see.
they rained on me, so I still have a rain check I still need to use before the season's over.
How great is that? Jared, that actually happened to me at Waterworld. The park closed at 6 o'clock, and it rained at 5:30, and they gave me a voucher to come back.
Seriously?
Seriously.
That's not too bad.
I'm so excited
I
about
do
this.
enjoy Waterworld, though. I've been there before.
That is a blast. It is so much fun. Well, Jared, this was your first summer here in Colorado Springs. How was that? Last year was your first year as the Sports Information Director here at UCCS. So it was your first summer here in Colorado Springs. How are Colorado Springs summers?
It was warmer than the summers I had in Gunnison, but still cooler than the summers I had back in Missouri.
Oh, cool.
So it was a good compromise. I moved this summer, and so that I picked a great day to move. That was fun.
Gotcha. Well, I agree with what you said about it definitely being cooler around here. And it's about to get even more cooler because sports have already started, Jared. We are underway. The seasons have officially begun for what? For volleyball, for men's soccer, women's golf, and men's and women's cross country.
That's right. And men's golf starts this weekend.
So we're hitting the ground running.
We are.
We're ready to go.
That's right.
We're ready. Well, before we actually start talking about all of that exciting stuff, Jared, I think we need to take a quick commercial break and let all of the millions and millions of listening Lions gather their thoughts in anticipation for a great first edition for the season. So we're going to jump to break, and when we come back, Jared Werner is going to give us the lowdown on everything UCCS sports related. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on the Lions Den.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me and I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one and I walk alone. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone. I'm walking down the line that divides me somewhere in my mind, on the borderline of the edge and where I walk alone. Read between the lines what's fucked up and everything's alright. Check my vital signs and know I'm still alive and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one and I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
is MJ and Martin. Join us Tuesdays at 10.
For the Lions Den, the official source for UCCS sports.
And you can get your corn dogs on.
There's no corn dogs, Martin.
I'm Steve Kirkham, Director of Athletics for UCCS. You're tuned in to the Lions Den, the official source of UCCS sports.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Lions Den, the official source for UCCS sports. And we are back, and it is no longer MJ and Martin. Now it is Amber and Martin. Martin's not around. Amber and MJ. Amber, we need to create some new promos for the show.
That's right, we do.
But don't listen to Martin. There's no hot dogs or no corn dogs. We don't offer any of that stuff. But we do bring in donuts for our guests.
I like donuts.
That's why all the guests
we're
keep
good.
coming back. That's exactly because we bring donuts. That's right.
So it's a plus.
That's always a plus. That's right. Well, Amber, our first show, and we got Mr. Jared Werner right here, live in color, talking to us about all things UCCS athletics. Jared, so talk to us. What are all things UCCS athletics at the moment?
First, before I get into that, where's my donuts?
Oh. Ooh. Somebody was listening. No donuts today, Jared. It's the first day, and I have no donuts.
That's okay.
There's no good reason.
I really don't need donuts. I'll be honest with you.
Fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to save them for the next guest, and we'll get them too.
Alrighty.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
But anyway, talking about UCCS athletics, I mean, it's already, we've only had one season, or one weekend, and we're, 6-1 in the team sports. Men's women's cross country, if we had scored 10 meet, would have won the Rust Buster last week. And women's golf, our very brand new sport program, finished 9th out of 15 teams. 6 out of the 10 teams in the RMAC that were in that tournament, we finished 6th then. So I think for a very first weekend of ever playing women's NCAA Division II golf, I think we're very pleased. I know that they want to do better, which is always a nice thing to see, that they want to improve, but at the same time, seeing what they did on the very first weekend, I think everyone's very pleased with that.
Well, could that be an indication of things to come, Jared? Because our men's golf program has historically been very good.
Yes.
Raved and talked about, very good. And now we have a women's golf program already in their first tournament, finishing strong. Is that an indication of things to come, or is that beginner's luck?
Oh, I don't think it's beginner's luck. I think it's a cliche, but everyone says you make your own luck. And I think they do. They've been working very hard. Sadie Farnsworth, our head women's golf coach, has been able to find some very quality student athletes to play for us. I don't think it's beginner's luck. I think it's a sign of things to come. I think it's only going to go up from here, which I think everyone's very excited for that program.
Well, speaking of new programs, it's no longer new, but the women's soccer program was new, and 4 years under its belt, and it's already hosting playoff games and things of that nature. Is that what we can expect from the women's golf program? Has it been built in a similar way that the women's soccer program has, so that it can come in and immediately compete with the rest of the RMAC?
Yes. We are not going to add a sport that doesn't have the proper funding, the proper support, the proper staff. There's a lot of discussion at some schools, even within the RMAC, that they will add sports for the enrollment purposes, and that you're bringing in, if you're adding, say, women's soccer, because that's a pretty popular sport to add. The rosters are roughly 20 to 25 or 30 players, and you think, so those are 20 to 30 players that were not going to probably come to camps beforehand, and now they're bringing friends from high school that are coming to watch them play. And there's a lot of times at those schools, by adding those sports, but they're not going to add the support. They're not going to add the scholarships or anything like that. They're adding it purely for the numbers. We're not going to do that. Obviously, we do not have an enrollment problem.
That, yeah.
No, and so when we add a sport, we're very strategic in which sport we're going to add and how we're going to do it, and make sure that they're successful right off the bat. Like you said, women's soccer. I think it's now their 6th season, but I mean they have shown every single year that we've had women's soccer, they have improved, and last year was a breakout season for them. I think the expectation across the entire athletic department now is we're going to win. We're going to do it the right way with the right student athletes. So those that go to class are excelling in the classroom first, and now they're excelling on the field or on the court or on the course as well. And that's something that we're definitely excited for. But like I said, the expectation now, we're not going to just throw a team together for the sake of having a women's golf team. We're going to have a women's golf team. We're going to make some noise in the conference and hopefully the nation.
So we got a women's golf team here in 2013. Are there rumors anywhere around of any other team that might be coming? I mean, everybody's wanting to know, when are we getting football? That's the real question. I know that's not anytime soon. But is there any other sports at the moment that are being considered for UCCS athletics?
We're always looking at different opportunities. With the ever-changing sports sponsorship across the conference, the RMAC is sponsoring women's lacrosse as a conference sport for the first time this year. Now, don't read into that as saying that UCCS is going to have women's golf. I don't want to see that clipped into a nice little thing, MJ or Amber.
I wouldn't do that.
But it's, I mean, we're looking at different options as our campus grows. You know, there's different things that our students look for.
Like parking spots?
Like
aside from parking
spots, which I'm looking for parking spots too, and I don't buy a parking pass. I'm in lot 15, but it's a good walk. I don't mind that. But you know, getting back to point. But we're always looking at different ways. You know, part of it is, you know, a big part of it is seeing what the demand from our students is, and also looking at how our conference has changed. Like I said, women's lacrosse is a sport that was just added. But then there's, you know, fluctuations in when conference members come. I know, throwing it out there, like wrestling is a sport that the RMAC is very successful in, and you know, a lot of time, and they're kind of in that situation because they have a lot of affiliate members in that sport specifically. Do they just make it a conference only sport? So, not having to worry about San Francisco State, not having to worry about Simon Fraser in British Columbia, and so there's just different options. We're always looking at things. So to answer your question, there is no specific sport right now.
No specific sport on the horizon, but we're always looking for new sports.
Yes.
All right. Well, and it seems like with the success of the athletic department as a whole, any sport that we bring in, as you mentioned, is going to be a strategic planning and going to be successful. So whatever happens, it's going to be good.
Right, and that's why it takes so long for us to look at those different things, because we want to make sure they're funded correctly. We don't want, like I said, we don't want to just throw out a lacrosse team or a baseball team or a wrestling team or a football team and just say, okay, go do football and go do wrestling. We're going to make sure that we hire the right coaches, the right staff, and we have the right support staff administratively to be able to handle that from the compliance side, from the sports medicine side, from the communication side, to make sure that all of our teams have the appropriate access to do what they need to do.
Well, it seems like that's a smart idea, because with the success that we're just starting to enjoy here at UCCS with athletics, the last thing we want to do is take funding from an already established sport on the verge of success, take that money away, and hurt their chances of getting to that next level. It seems like that's not what we've done at all. We've done it pretty well.
And like last year is when you really saw that. It was when athletic director Steve Kirkham came in, when the Chancellor Pamela Shockley Alabat became chancellor. You know, a lot of this stuff has been, you know, laid down for several years, and now we're really starting to see the fruition of that labor come to play with our teams going 6-1 last week.
That's pretty impressive for any athletic program. 6-1 start. That's really good.
Right.
Well, Jared, last time we had you on the show, we were talking about the new development down on North Nevada, and this is something that's going to help our new co-host here, Amber McAfee, who is part of the cross-country team. She is a runner, and we're building a new track stadium down there. So how is that going to help Amber and the rest of our athletics for cross-country and track?
Well, I will say we're not building it physically right now, but we are in meeting stages and trying to figure out, you know, just little things. What do we want it to ultimately be? Because a lot of we don't, you know, like when we add a new sport, we don't want to build a new facility and just throw it out there and say, here you go. We're looking at doing this right. We're looking at doing this in multiple stages. And then in terms of whenever this thing is fully built out, it's going to be one heck of a facility. But in terms of specifically for like Amber and the cross-country and track folks, right now, cross-country is a little bit different in that naturally their practices occur on trails throughout the town and city. And that's true at any other school I've been at. Most of the time, cross-country is running all across town because it's a different variety. They can do different workouts and that kind of thing. But with track, right now we're having to go to the high school stadiums to try to get track space just so we can practice on an actual track. And so by having a track on campus will allow our track and field and cross country runners to be able to practice on campus rather than having to drive to any of the high school stadiums. And it also allows us to actually host the meets. We're in a very good position just south of Denver, but still in a really easy drive from the mountains as well as from northern New Mexico, like Albuquerque and those schools, as well as western Kansas. We're in a great position, and especially with Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak.
It's beautiful here.
It's
Who
a beautiful
doesn't wanna come
campus,
here?
and we're at we're at a deceivingly high altitude. People I don't think realize how high up we are. And so it's a great place to train, especially for those distance runners. They're not going to like to run at altitude up here, but we have it would be in a great location within town because you have University Village, Colorado, just across the street, and it'll just be it'll be a great facility once we can find the funding and how we want to do this.
So Amber is a sophomore here. Is she going to get to enjoy all this?
I hope so. I'm not going to put a timeline on it just because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving pieces. We're trying, like anything we do on campus now, like with the Lane Center, that involved a lot of community partnerships. With the Visual Performing Arts Center, that's also going to be going down there. That's involving a lot of community partnerships. So there's a lot of pieces in play. Getting those people all on the same page so we can move forward with it is a challenge, but it's something that UCCS has done very well in the past. And I hope it's ready by the time Amber is a senior. I'm not going to promise it, but I know we're working very hard to get that project done.
So no promises, Amber, but how do you feel about the fact that this track is coming and it could be here by the time you graduate? You might get to enjoy all of the benefits of the new track and athletic facilities. How does that sound as an athlete?
It'll be great. We'll have to take that drive down to Gary Berry every day. Actually have our own turf.
You don't want to go to Gary Berry?
No.
What's Gary Berry? What's this business?
Gary Berry is the high school stadium that we actually practice at every morning during track season, cold and all. So it would be nice to have our own stadium, can host our own meets, put in work, and make a statement. So.
And what kind of an edge, from your perspective, do you think that would give you or give the team?
I actually think it would give us a really good edge because we would be more accustomed to running on our own turf by that point, and we would know how to run in the altitude, and so we would actually make a factor and a great year comeback if we had our stadium. So
Jared, is it possible that a really good team could get even better if we have this track that they can call their own?
Oh, definitely. And part of the problem is with having to practice at Gary Berry is we don't own hurdles. We don't own pits. We don't own a lot of that stuff. And so when we go to track and field, the people that we send are very good. Problem is that we don't have any throwing events. We don't have any, we don't have a lot of jumpers in terms of either the horizontal or the vertical jumps. And so we score low just because we just don't have people in those events. The people we have in events do very well. And so to be able to complete that actual track and field team and have all that stuff on campus, I think is where we're going to be able to take the next step in track and field.
So good things on the horizon.
Yes, definitely.
Very good things. Well, let's jump back a little bit. We're talking about what's to come, but let's get back to the 6-1 start on the season. We got a few sports teams right now. Currently, 2 of them undefeated. Both soccer teams have yet to lose this season. Men's soccer 1-0, women's soccer 2-0, women's volleyball 3-1. They started 3-0. I mean, how great is that, Jared? Your second year here, you must be the good luck charm because all of a sudden you come last year and we start winning.
That's usually I'm great because usually it's the opposite. I'm sure I've told you this before. I used to work at a football school 2 schools ago, and we were very good. Made the national championship game all 4 years. Lost all 4 years. The year I left, they went back and won the national championship. So I feel good about that. And again, a women's basketball team I worked with made it. I think we made the NCAA playoffs the year before I became the grad assistant for women's basketball. The year I became the women's basketball assistant, I think we won 4 or 5 games. Didn't even make the conference tournament after making this round of 32 in NCAAs. So I'm glad to be on this flip side of winning because it seems like every team I had touched was cursed to not win. But I mean, it's great. I'm looking forward to a very long November and December.
That's a good thing, right?
Oh, I would rather be busy doing postseason events than busy doing something else.
Right, postseason means a longer season for us, but it means a more enjoyable season overall for everybody.
Yes, it's a lot of work for postseason, but it's work I don't mind doing.
Well, how about the starts for the men's and women's soccer programs? I mean, they're combined 3-0 at the moment. They have a couple of games this upcoming weekend, which on paper look to be games in which we could win.
Oh, definitely. I think, and we're looking at this kind of stuff day in and day out. But I think with the with men's soccer, I mean, a freshman scored 2 to 3 goals last Thursday night against St. Mary's, and that's something that's very exciting. We have a couple of women's soccer freshmen and newcomers who are playing very well and starting. So we still have our returners who are doing great. Agnes Daughter is one of those returners who's just scoring every other minute, it seems like. But then we have, like on the men's soccer team, J.R. Calhoun, who scored those 2 goals. On the women's side, Taylor Braden, who is coming in and starting as a newcomer, transferring from Hastings. And so there's a lot of things that are very positive. And to see that kind of success this early on, we only had, I think, 2 weeks of practice before this. Let me make sure I got that right. 2 weeks and then an actual week of game prep to actually put everything into place. And to see those kind of performances this early and the kind of performances that we're seeing, we're not winning like by 1 goal. We're winning by 2 to 3 goals on those on those soccer games. Volleyball is doing very well, and that one game they lost was against the number 10 team in the nation, and those were 3 close sets. It wasn't like it was 25-10, 25-9. It was 25-21, 25-20. We gave them all they could handle, and that's for sure. And they'll be, especially going into this weekend for volleyball, they got another tough weekend. If they can perform well, it's going to look really good for volleyball going into the RMAC season.
Well, how about this, Jared? The fact that the new head coach, Chrissy Elder, started off 3-0. She's now 3-1, but that's the best start for a new head coach in volleyball program history here at UCCS. So is that an indication of things to come, in your opinion?
I think so. I mean, like I keep saying, the expectations have changed since just a couple years ago. The expectations are now that we win, we're winning the right way. Chrissy is someone who she doesn't know what it's like not to be in the NCAA tournament. She was a volleyball player at the University of Missouri, graduated from Pittsburgh State University, a very solid Division II program. Came from the University of Central Missouri, who I think was a semifinalist one year, national semifinalist one year, national quarterfinalist another year. So she's used to winning, and I think that's showing. And she's going to go back to Central Missouri this weekend, where she cut her teeth as an assistant coach, and it's going to be fun to watch volleyball along with the other sports this season.
Yeah, Coach Elder said that she has never not made it to the NCAA tournament. Every year that she's been a player or coach, her team has made it to the NCAA tournament. It's been quite a while since the Mountain Lions have made it to the NCAA tournament. So what's going to give? Is she going to lead us all the way? What do you think, Jared? What's your prediction?
Well, I'm the eternal optimist, as you know. I think we're going to win a national championship, quite honestly. But I think we're going to see a much stronger UCCS volleyball team this year with Chrissy.
Well, I think based on the first 3 matches where they went 3-0, and then against the number 10 team in the nation, and playing very good, I think that's a pretty good assessment of the team.
Yes.
They are going to be something to look out for. Well, Jared, last year when we had John here to start the show, we talked about your big project was transferring websites. We went from the old Mountain Lions website, the old GoMountainLions.com, to the new GoMountainLions.com. Much nicer, cleaner, much more appealing website overall, but it has a lot of good content. And all last year, that was your big project, was transferring all that. Most of that work is done now. So what's the project on the horizon for the sports information director this year, this fall, this spring, this new academic year?
The biggest project for us is now so we just took the content from the old website and put in the new one. Now we're actually taking content that's in our filing cabinets onto the new website. And so, for example, women's soccer, everything we have ever put out on women's soccer is now on the website. Men's soccer, we are going back to 1993. We're almost completely done with men's soccer. The next sport are volleyball And then after that, we're kind of see what we can do. But we have a stack of papers that we still need to scan in, and then we take them to university archives. The ultimate goal is that we become essentially a paperless office.
Going digital.
Going digital, 100%. The idea, there's multiple reasons for that. One of them is, the green philosophy, and that without that much paper, we don't print out a lot of stuff that we used to. We can save paper and money that way. But it's also ease of access. By having that stuff digitized, we can do our jobs faster and better than we did before. If we're looking for something, not having to go through filing cabinets, it's already on the servers. We can find it in an instant and know quickly how we did and be able to put that information out. It makes it much more streamlined, much more efficient, and I'm definitely looking forward to being able to do that for the rest of the sports as well, because we're already seeing that pay dividends with women's soccer.
Wait, so you're saying I'm going to do an even better job at my job this year than I did last year? Is that possible?
It is.
Oh my!
Believe it or not.
Oh my, that's good news. That's exciting.
But it should be fun. It was something we spent a lot of time this summer working on. Like all of our men's soccer stats are in our database now, so it's a lot easier to be able to pull out records than it was beforehand. And by doing that, it allows us to create better products. That allows us to provide better insight into historically why this is so important, and be able to actually know exactly whenever we say something that was the first time since so and so, or such and such time.
So if you're a fan of UCCS athletics, fans aren't going to notice most of those things necessarily.
No, probably not.
Are there any changes on the horizon, or anything that fans could look forward to this season that might be different than in past seasons, or just in general, what can the spectators expect to spectate on this year as a Mountain Lion spectator?
Well, believe it or not, we are planning on doing more winning this year. More winning.
More?
And it was something that we won quite a few games last year, but I think we're going to win even more. So that's going more.
Oh my!
That's right.
That's good news.
But we're putting a lot more emphasis into trying to enhance the environment of our games, whether that's through game promotions, whether that's through events during halftime. That was something that we did sometimes a little bit last year, but quite honestly, we need to improve on. And that's something we're looking at doing to try to enhance the overall experience for fans when they come. So that at halftime it's not just 20 minutes of music. It's actually some sort of activity going on the court, or something during the games, or something that we can do to enhance the enjoyment of our fans at our sporting events. Which I'm hoping we're going to have a lot more, especially in like November or March timeframe.
When we're hosting playoff games?
Exactly.
That'll be exciting.
Yes.
So maybe some more Midnight Madness type events like we did last year for basketball?
I know we're looking into it. I know part of the problem was last year we did it so quickly, but then the Broncos played a Monday night game right during that time frame.
Of course they
did. And we're not going to compete with the Broncos. We already know
can't do that. No.
Especially with the way Peyton Manning played last Thursday night.
Oh my gosh, 7 touchdowns, no interception, this guy.
Yeah, so we're not going to try to go against the Broncos. So we got to make sure we look at different things on campus.
Gotcha. But exciting stuff on the horizon.
Definitely.
Going to be a good season.
It will be.
It's already a good season. It's a great season.
Yes.
I would say 6-1 to start the season. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's only an indication of things to come. Well, Jared, is there anything I'm forgetting? Any other surprises on the horizon that I don't know about that I'm not aware of?
You've pretty much covered it all.
Great. That's what we do here on the Lions Den. That's why we're the official source for UCCS sports.
That's right.
That's right. Well, Jared, we really appreciate you stopping by here on our first show, and hopefully you'll be back a few more times throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
Keep up with us. I mean, I see you
anytime,
every day, so
yeah.
I'll bring you down one Monday.
Amber, keep this guy in line.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's a tricky job right there.
Yes.
That's a very daunting task you ask of her.
I know.
But in any event, Jared, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to a great season, and we'll definitely have you back on as the season progresses.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
Thank you much. Don't go anywhere. We're here on the Lions Den. We're going to come right back after this commercial break.
And my man Steve Rowland, we're kicking the flow. And it goes a little something like this. Tag team, back back again. Check it, direct it, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These three words mean you're getting busy. Whoop, there it is, Hitman. Whoop, there it is. 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 Upside down and inside out, I'm about to show all you folks what it's all about. Now it's time for it to get on the mic and make this motherfucking party hot. I'm taking it back to the old school, cause I'm an old fool who's so cool. If you wanna get down, I'ma show you the way. There it is, let me hear you say. Whoop, there it is. Come on, y'all. Whoop, there it is. A little louder. Whoop, there it is. Come on, y'all. Whoop, there it is. Louder. Whoop, there it is. Come on, y'all. Whoop, there it is. A little louder. Whoop, there it is. Come on, y'all. Whoop, there it is. Whoop. Shaka, 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 shaka. Whoop. Shaka, 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 shaka. Whoop. Shaka, 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 shaka. Whoop. Shaka, shaka, shaka. Point blank, gin and juice I drink and bent as I puff on dank. Rock the mic, I crave skin rip shit. Find a honey dip to dip it in. Slam dunk it, stick it, flip it and ride that B-double-O-T-Y, oh my. Ooh, that's it, come on, whoop. There it is, I'm done. Whoop. Come on, whoop. There it is. Louder. Whoop. Give it to me. Whoop. Come on. Get louder. Whoop. Let it. Whoop. Come on. Whoop. Yeah. Some say I'm crazy cause I'm pushing up daisies. The underground sound that you have found amazing, outstanding, demanding, commanding you people dancing. That's a breath taker. I produce, aka The Undertaker. You wanna come down to the underground old school? Here's a shovel. Can you dig it, fool? Can you dig it? We can dig it. Can y'all dig it? We can dig it. Can you dig it? We can dig it. Can y'all dig it? We can dig it. Can you dig it? We can dig it. Can y'all dig it? We can dig it. Can you dig it? We can dig it. Can y'all dig it? W-H-O-O-M-P as I flow to the fly from the school of bowl. Hardcore, kick the folklore wreck. 3 to the 2 and 1 mic check. Mass skill flow ill on the mess of steel. That's the grill of the microphone I just killed. Party people, it's your party tag team is through. Whoop, there it is, I thought you knew. Whoop, there it is. 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 Yeah, tag team music coming straight at ya. That's me, DC, the brain supreme, and my man Steve Rowland. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back. Here we go. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop.
I'm Scott Peterson, head coach of the UCCS softball team, and you're tuned in to the Lions Den, the official source of UCCS sports.
Hey all you boxing fans out there, this is Brandon from Boxing at Sundown. Tune in to my show every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time to hear Nick and I interview some of the biggest names in the boxing game, give you fight recaps, give you fight previews, as well as get you filled in on all the boxing news going on around the world. If you missed the live show, then look for the podcast under the Boxing at Sundown page.
Hello everybody, John Sly here. If you are a connoisseur of independent music and fed up with never hearing it on the radio, then tune in to my show, Sly's Independent Radio Hour, every Thursday at 5 o'clock p.m. to hear the latest in independent music.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're tuned in to the Lions Den, the official source for UCCS Sports. A big thanks to the Sports Information Director here at UCCS, Jared Werner, for stopping by and talking all things UCCS athletics. Well, Amber, it's time we start getting down to the nitty-gritty. We got some stuff we got to cover here on the Lions Den, mainly that 6-1 start that Jared was talking about to all of our athletic team sports. So let's go ahead and start with women's soccer, who currently is 2-0. They did a great job over this past weekend as they defeated Concordia St. Paul 3-0. And in that game, Agnes Arnadottir scoring 2 goals. And then their next game against East Central, the Mountain Lions won 4-2, so collectively they've won both games 7-2 pretty handily. And in that second game, Agnes scoring another goal, her 18th, now tied for first place all time. How about that, Amber? First
That's
place all
something.
time. It's only the third game of the season. Do you think she's going to break that record?
She's going to break it.
You
She's
think
coming
so?
back. She's going to break it. I think she will.
When do you predict she's going to break it? Any predictions on when?
I think she's going to do it at the next game.
Which is when? When's the next game?
Friday.
This Friday. Oh, my. This Friday, that's right. The Mountain Lions are going to play Fort Hays State to open the conference season. That is going to be a great matchup. And, Amber, I think you're right. I think Agnes could very well score that goal, become number 1 all-time this Friday at Mountain Lion Stadium. Is that your prediction?
That is my prediction. She's going to make Mountain Lion history.
Mountain Lion
Let's do
history.
it.
If you want to see it, you got to come to Mountain Lion Stadium this weekend on Friday the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. It's going down. Well, Amber, the next sport we got to cover, soccer, men's soccer, because they are also undefeated, 1-0. How about this? In his collegiate debut, J.R. Smith, the freshman, scores 2 goals against St. Mary's this past weekend as the Mountain Lions went on to beat St. Mary's 3-0. The other goal coming from Liam Levy Phillip. But how about that? Amber, could you imagine in your first game? I know you don't play soccer, but could you imagine having that kind of an impact in cross country, running your very first meet and coming out with a big win like that? How would that feel?
It's the best feeling in the world. I'm
Best
not even
feeling.
joking.
Yeah?
That is probably the best feeling in the world. It makes a statement. You're letting people know who you are, and you're going to come back and really frighten some people. So
That's right. I think people around the Armac and anybody who plays UCCS's men's soccer team is going to know the name J.R. Calhoun for many years to come. The freshman had an unbelievable game, and he's set to repeat all that, hopefully, this upcoming weekend as another home game on Friday the 13th as the Mountain Lions are going to take on Eastern New Mexico, followed by another game on Sunday against Midwestern State. And talking with our sports information director, Jared, earlier, he made it seem as though these are both games in which, on paper anyways, the Mountain Lions should win. And so how about that, Amber? If we come out and the Mountain Lion men's team wins those 2 games, they're going to be 3-0.
it's an incredible start to the season.
That's right.
It's an incredible start.
I mean, it is still early on here in September, and already we're talking winning seasons.
Right.
I'm a Raider fan, Amber, so I don't know much about winning seasons as of late. And so it's really nice to be a part of the UCCS athletic department who they've all done a great job of turning things around. And I think the men's soccer team, coached by Johnny Keene, has done a phenomenal job here at UCCS. Johnny Keene, a great coach. And I caught up with Johnny Keene and talked to him about his thoughts on the weekend, the 2 goals by J.R. Calhoun, the win against St. Mary's, and the upcoming 2 games this weekend. So we're going to go ahead and jump to that interview with Johnny Keene right now. All right, we're joined right now by head coach of the men's soccer team, Johnny Keene. Johnny, thanks for joining us. Can you give us your thoughts on the 1-0 start to the season? A good game over the weekend against St. Mary's. 3-0 win. J.R. Calhoun with 2 goals in his first game ever as a collegiate athlete. So can you give us your thoughts on him and the game as a whole?
Sure. The game itself, obviously a great start to the season. It's certainly the way we wanted to start this year. A 3-0 win, you can't really complain too much about that. And as it was written on the website, a very convincing win for us. Certainly identified some things that we can work on. We can always work to improve, and there's a number of things we'll need to work on to make sure we're successful in our conference play this year. But looking back to last season and our first game of the season, we came out of the first game with a lot to work on, and we were 0-1. So it's much nicer to be 1-0, to have a lot of positives to take away, and then certainly have some things to work on in training this week. Looking forward to the upcoming weekend.
And speaking of the upcoming weekend, you're going to play Eastern New Mexico and Midwestern State, both this weekend, Friday and then Sunday. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming games, and how do you expect those games to go?
Well, we always expect to win, but expect battles in both of those games. Last time we played these 2 teams, I was an assistant coach 2 seasons ago, We were on the road, and they both got the better of us. Very close games. Eastern New Mexico beat us in overtime, and Midwestern beat us 1-0 at their home. And I think 100-degree weather. It was so hot down there. So I'd expect 2 more battles this time, but on our home turf, we certainly hope to come away with the win.
Well, I know you're not a meteorologist, but in the forecast, do you expect to see redemption?
I believe so. We've got some ties to those teams. We've got a couple of players that are from New Mexico, and with Texas, we've got 2 new players now playing that are out of Dallas, Texas, 2 freshmen, and also one of our rising juniors is a former Midwestern player, so he's very excited, and he'll be starting in that game, so he's very excited for that as well.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend. Thanks, Coach. And that was head coach Johnny Keene of the UCCS men's soccer team. Very pleased with his 1-0 start. And Amber, a couple big games on the horizon. Talking about the games on Friday and on Sunday. But Coach Johnny Keene feeling very confident about those. So hopefully things will pan out the way he thinks that they will. And the Mountain Lions look to start the season 3-0. That is pretty impressive by any stretch of the imagination. And Amber, we've come to the point in the show where we need to announce what is known as our Shining Lion. And we always have to say it with that great tone. So if you help me out,
They're
it's
the
time for
lions
the...
that made us go roar.
No, but it's our Shining Lion. It's got to be like that because it's so awesome. They do roar, you're right. So I guess we can add a roar at the end. So it could be our Shining Lion, roar! Something like that. But I am thinking, Amber, for our first Shining Lion of the season, as great of a game as Agnes Arnedottir had, scoring 2 goals in her first game of the season, I think even more impressive is for a freshman to do it in his first ever collegiate game, and that would be J.R. Calhoun, who scored the 2 goals in the season opener against St. Mary's. I think that's got to be our Shining Lion of the week.
I'd agree with you. That's pretty impressive, coming out as a freshman and scoring 2 goals.
I mean,
hard to beat.
He set the bar pretty high, though. I'm
Really
expecting
did.
2 goals out of this kid every single game. It's like Peyton Manning. He's got to throw 7 touchdowns every game, or he's just not living up anymore.
That's right.
So, JR, you set the bar high. But well done, my friend. You are this week's Shining Lion here on the Lions Den. J.R. Calhoun, a freshman midfielder from Canyon Country, California. And we are very pleased to have him as a Mountain Lion. A bright future ahead for this kid. And hopefully many more Shining Lion awards to come for Mr. J.R. Calhoun. So congratulations to him. And congratulations as well to head coach of the UCCS women's volleyball team, Chrissy Elder, who has started the season 3-0. And then we fell to number 10 ranked West Texas A&M, but 3-1 to start the season. That is very impressive. And Amber, 3-1 to start the season at the Britt Care Lady Buff Invitational. The Mountain Lions went 3-1 to start that season. They beat Lubbock, Texas 3-1, beat Texas Permian Basin 3-2 all last Friday. On Saturday, they beat Incarnate Word 3-0, and then fell to West Texas A&M 0-3. However, as Jared talked about, those 3 sets were all very close. The Mountain Lions showed that they could hang in there with a very top team, such as the Lady Buffs, who were the tournament host. So a little home field advantage, but nonetheless a good solid team. And I think that was a great start to the season. And you know who else thought it was a great start?
Who else thought?
I think Coach Elder thought it was a great start because I interviewed her to get her thoughts on that weekend and this upcoming weekend as well. And we're going to jump to that right now. Now we are joined by head coach of the women's volleyball team, Chrissy Elder. Coach Elder, can you give us your thoughts on this past weekend's action to open up the season 3-1? Great start, great play. How do you feel about how the Britt Care tournament, the Lady Bluff Classic went?
It was great. Our kids worked really, really hard. We played some really great teams. West Texas, obviously, really good team. They played great Saturday night, and our kids really, really battled it out and showed what they're made of. We got a chance to actually do that, just show what we were made of and what we can do, and kind of, get a view of the potential that we have to come. So it was great. We had a little bit of adversity and managed to battle through it and wound up with a pretty good record in the end.
Well, 3-1 to start the season, the best start to a season since 2001, so can't complain there. What are your thoughts on Jordan Banich and Grace Gordon, who were named to the tournament all-team? Great performances by them over the weekend, really helped lead the Mountain Lions. How do you feel about them being named to the all-tournament team?
It's a really good representation of our whole team. If it were up to me, the whole team would have been on there somewhere, but that's not possible. So it was really nice to get 2 kids. A few teams just got 1, but they represent our team really well. And if those are the girls that the coaches chose, then those are the girls that I would pick too. I do think that our whole team deserved part of that honor, and I think that Grace and Jordan would be more than happy to share it. So.
Excellent. And so what are your thoughts on this upcoming weekend, heading back to Central Missouri for a big tournament for the Peggy Martin Challenge, kind of a homecoming, so to speak, for you. And you're going to start off with Emporia State on Friday and then Pittsburgh State a little bit later. And then Saturday, you're going to have 2 matches, the last one against Central Missouri. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming tournament next weekend?
It is a homecoming of sorts, I guess, for me. I'm really excited to show our kids where I came from. I've been here now for 6 months, and they've done a really good job of showing me what Colorado is made of and all that good stuff. So it's going to be really cool to get to go back home and show them, where I'm from and where I spent the last 6 years and, kind of where I get my background and whatnot from. So I'm really excited to do that. I am not looking past it, though, for sure. Not looking past it. It's going to be a tough weekend with 3 MIA teams, one being 8th in the nation, and then another team in McKendree who's just a really solid team. So it's going to be another tough weekend, but it'll be a good indication of where we are ready for the RMAC.
Excellent. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
All right.
Well, that was head coach Chris Yelder of the UCCS women's volleyball team. Very happy about the play this past weekend in Canyon, Texas, where the Mountain Lions went 3-1 to start the season. And a big weekend on the horizon. 4 more matches that we're going to get you all the results for next weekend. And, of course, you can check GoMountainLions.com throughout the weekend to get the results. If you just can't wait till next Tuesday at 10 to listen to the results right here on the Lions Den, check GoMountainLions.com. But in the meantime, Amber, we had some more action. Soccer wasn't the only thing that happened. Volleyball's not the only thing that happened. Women's golf isn't the only thing that happened.
No.
But cross country also in action. And you, Amber, are the expert, part of the team. So tell us, what happened? The women's cross country was in action. Men's cross country in action. The 6th annual Rust Buster here this past weekend. How'd that happen? What went down?
That's right. We opened up our season with the annual UCCS Rust Buster.
Rust Buster!
And we came out, we really put in our work like we were supposed to, and we had really made a statement at this meet here after having both teams, men's and women's, last year qualify for nationals. We really had to step up our game a little bit this year.
And you did.
And we did.
And you did.
We did.
That's what's up.
Everybody improved from last year by like a minute or 2. So it was really good. We were led by Angie Martell in the
She's good.
Buster. Yep. She was amazing. She placed 3rd overall. And for the guys, Bryce Gregory, he's new,
He's
transfer,
good too.
sophomore.
Who's this kid coming out of nowhere?
He's a transfer sophomore, and he came in and he led our UCCS men's with a good finish in the UCCS Rust Buster.
So you're saying we put it down this
That's
year
right.
on the Rust Buster.
That's right.
That is right. Well, that is very
Busted
exciting.
some rust.
That's right. We knocked the rust
That's right.
off the Rust Buster. That is right. Well, it looks as though that the teams are going to be back in action at least in the near future on September 21st at the Colorado College Invitational at Monument Valley Park. At least the men's team is going to be competing.
The women's team will be there too.
Both
They'll
teams.
be doing split. Half the girls will be in Spokane, Washington, but the rest will be there at CC also competing. So it'd be a great meet to come out and just watch because we love the support.
Monument Valley Park. That's
right.
not that far.
That's That's right. Just
Fans-
right down Fontanero. You can't miss it.
That's right. Millions and millions of listening Lions out there who are currently tuned into the Lions Den. Come support your UCCS team. September 21st, Monument Valley Park. That's going to be a good meet. Wouldn't you say?
It's going to be awesome.
Are you going to be there?
I am going to be there.
Are you going to be running?
I will be running.
Come and support our new host here on the Lions Den, Amber McAfee. Going to be racing that day at Monument Valley Park. And what's your prediction? How are you going to do?
I'm going to get a PR this year.
Okay,
so
we're
see.
going to have to talk about how you did during the shows, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Okay, well, before we go, we have to cover really quickly women's golf because they were in action as well. Jared Werner talked about it a little bit earlier on, but Laura Gritz finished in a tie for 29th to lead UCCS. The Mountain Lions with a very good showing in their first ever golf tournament for the women's program. I think that is pretty impressive to come in and already be in the mix with everything. Brand new season, the inaugural season, and already the team is coming in and having an impact. And so, I mean, if you're getting 9th in your very first tournament out of 15 teams, that's pretty solid. I mean, of course, we all want to be first, but 9th out of 15, first tournament, that is great stuff. And they're going to be back in action looking to improve upon that finish this upcoming weekend on September 16th and 17th as they travel the Black Hills State to take on that tournament in Spearfish, South Dakota. So that's going to be an exciting tournament as well. And then the men's golf season also begins shortly on September 15th as they will go to Indianapolis, Indiana to take part in the Brickyard Invitational. So a lot going on, Amber. There's a lot going on. Summer's over. Sports have started.
That's right.
That's good stuff, right?
Lions are putting in work.
Lions are putting in work. That's right. And I think all the teams who face the Mountain Lions are going to know how fierce that they are. As Jared was talking about earlier, a couple seasons ago, I don't think we had the same level of intimidation as we do now. People take us seriously, and they know we're coming to win. And it starts right here on the Lions Den. So tune in next Tuesday at 10. But Amber, before we go, there's something that we do every week here on the Lions Den. And it is What to Watch For. So I'm going to be that guy now. That was Martin's role. He always used to say, what to watch for. Well, Martin's not here, and you're here. So I'm going to do what to watch for, and you're going to tell the fans what to watch for. So now it's time for What to Watch For.
All right, on Friday at 9 a.m., volleyball versus Emporia State, and there will be 3 more games after that. And then Friday also, we have men's soccer versus Eastern New Mexico. Also competing on Friday, which couldn't be hard to miss, women's soccer versus Fort Hays State. On Sunday, we have the men's Gold Brickyard Invitational, and Monday, women's golf will be competing at Spearfish, South Dakota.
That's right, Amber. A lot to watch for. That's what you're telling the millions and millions of listening Lions. There is a full weekend of UCCS athletics. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday at 10 right here on the Lions Den. If you just can't wait, go to GoMountainLions.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Stalk us in real life. Check us out at the Lions Den UCCS. Like us, follow us, stalk us, do all that fun stuff. Because we love when you do. So please do that. Check us out next Tuesday at 10. In the meantime, have a great weekend. And of course, go Mountain Lions!
Radio.uccs.edu